everybody. Keith, aka Gator Guy 231. It is Thursday, August 6th, which means we are only one day from the Champions League return yesterday. If you can't tell, kind of excited about that. You know, we have some great prize pools on Draftkings and FanDuel to welcome that back. Today, to whet our appetites, we have two more Europa League classic slates, a showdown, and I'm excited for it. I'm going to do a little bit of, just talk. SofaScore, unfortunately, does not have formations, but I did find some predicted lineups via SportsMole. I'll be going over. So I'm going to talk about odds, what teams are playing for, some top players from each side. And we'll get the hell out of here and hopefully have a great day of soccer. If this is your first time watching, just want to thank you for finding us. Promise you will not find better soccer content out there, in my humble opinion, as the guy that is making these videos. But do us a favor, hit the subscribe button on the bottom right of the screen. It helps more than you know, and that your click is greatly appreciated. All right, let us jump into the games and what we need to look for. So like yesterday, a lot of these are second legs, so we need to understand what the motivations for the teams will be based on the current score. So starting out the first game, Leverkusen versus Rangers. Pardon my my inability to put an R on Rangers, but Leverkusen up 3-1. They have had one of the longest layoffs, as we saw with Wolfsburg yesterday. German side just looked dead, like they came out flat. So, could Leverkusen do the same? Sure. They do have the advantage of being at home for the second leg, but we will see Rangers trying to push to at least get a second goal early to see if they can make this second leg at least a competition. Sevilla and Roma is a one-game winner-takes-all playoff. They never started their first leg. They are at a neutral site in Germany, so no home field advantage either way. On the on the afternoon slate, we have Wolves and Olympiacos. That game is tied 1-1, but it is being played at Wolverhampton. So both teams. One thing I'll just mention for Wolves, we've seen Nuno never wants to overcommit early. So I don't think you're going to see like Wolves blitzing, just kind of try to work into the game. But, they should win that tie. And then Basel is up 3-0 on Frankfurt. The game is back in Switzerland. So that 3-0 result was in Germany. So Frankfurt really has their work cut out for them. And yet again, are another one of those Bundesliga teams that could show up with some rust, especially being down 3-0. I doubt a lot of the players are too excited about traveling. So, something we want to keep in mind. All right, let's look at the odds and then lineups. So, Leverkusen is the biggest favorite on the early slate, -163. It's 3 total. We'll go over those set guys here in a minute. And then Sevilla and Roma is fairly even. Odds makers do like Sevilla here. I do think that, honestly, maybe there's a little too much juice on Sevilla. But they ended La Liga in outstanding form. So I definitely get it. And let's just quickly go over that form, because I do think it's very much worth noting. They had, I'm trying to remember, their last loss is all the way back in February to Celta. Since the return, they were not only one of the hottest clubs in Europe, but one of the best defensive clubs. They only allowed one goal in their last, last 6 games. But here's the other part. They weren't exactly scoring machines either. But, that defensive side of things is something really to keep in mind, especially maybe, if a guy like Edin Dzeko is going to show up with some ownership, maybe that's a solid fade. Afternoon slate, they do have Frankfurt as a -101 favorite, having to make up 3 goals, and then Wolves -125 at home. All right. Like I mentioned, unfortunately, SofaScore does not have the pictures of the lineups like we normally like to go over, but at least we have something. So I want to thank SportsMole for posting these early. So let's talk about Leverkusen. I think the big news is that Kai Havertz is expected to play, despite all of the transfer news, all the transfer rumors. So, he's a top play, but, I would just mention this with him. He is still goal dependent. So, well, I get completely targeting him. Do I think that, you're an idiot or he's a must play? I don't think so by any means. I'm pulling up my Draftkings app here just so I can link up. He's 10K. So, he has to have honestly, a goal and assist to pay off. One goal you can make up, especially with some of the good plays in that Roma Sevilla game from a forward perspective. So do I think that you need him? No. What I think, honestly, if I'm going to try to get, if we see just a set like craziness with Leverkusen, like this is nice. If this is the type of lineup, because Leon Bailey would just be a lock and load. He'd be on all the sets. But if we do see Demirbay, or we see a Miri, or a combination of all of them, and we have some splits, you start going like, God, kind of like what you have in the United. You start going, do I have to play Fred? I just want to play Mata, or is Daniel James going to jump on some corners? So then you start overcommitting for the corners. This would be just awesome. Just Leon Bailey, go. Maybe look at one other piece. I actually think Kevin Volland at 7,200 is a really, really nice play for a guy that is going to lead the line, talented goal scorer. So I would rather take that $2,800 discount over Havertz than paying all the way up. So yeah, I think I'm talking myself into a Havertz fade. Wendell would be the fullback that you could target. If they have Bender out there, he's mainly playing in the back three. Diaby, a good, nice player moving forward. He is, let's see what his price is. 7,400 is fair. Yeah, so I think that's Leverkusen. On the Rangers side of things, so Barisic is taking most of the corners. Sometimes he goes and takes almost all of them. Sometimes he splits with Tavernier. Also, Haji can get in there too. So it's all just kind of a mess. I would just say this, even if Barisic is the most likely to take, and then he has plenty good open play value too. And at 5,200 as a defender, I think that's really just a nice play, a good way to get some Rangers exposure without going overboard. Haji is 6,500, so I think that we can just go ahead and pass on that if it's a set split, and go in other routes. Morelos is their best attacker by far. Shoots a ton, draws fouls. I don't think this is a great matchup for him, but I do like the price a lot on him. I'm trying to find it real quick. 7,500, I think, for a GPP makes some sense. Like if there's a Rangers goal, like you're going to be expecting it to be him. Kent's a fine player, but probably not somebody that we're going to go for. I think that anybody that's not named Barisic and Tavernier is probably more GPP on this slate. I could not fault you for putting either of them in cash, knowing that they're going to be crossing a ton, and just have some set value on top of open play value, knowing that they're going to have to push forward to try to get the goal, especially early. I think we'll see Rangers really try to attack. All right, going over to the game in Germany, the second game in Germany, but this one's at a neutral site, Sevilla and Roma. Let's start with Sevilla. So without Ever Banega, sets are open a little bit more. I don't think we'll see Suso. I'd really be shocked if that's not Munir, personally. But if it is Suso and Jordan would likely be on a split. A big issue with Joe and Jordan is he's just one of those defensive midfield types that so much of his DFS value is going to come from sets. So I feel like those are the players over and over that I target and get wrong. The thing is he's 3,900, so it will depend on builds, but I think that's a really fine play. I'd actually prefer him over Suso, who it would be likely be an early sub, and just as a tilt factor for me. So while I think he would be popular because he's forward eligible and would be on some sets, I don't know. 6,300 is okay. I'll have to think about that once lineups come out and just see how the build is. Just understand he's cash viable and a good cash play. I just don't know if I'll be able to pull the trigger. If Munir is in, like, that's my boy. I love playing Munir. Draws fouls, shoots, would take some corners. I'd much rather do that. Lucas Ocampos is now forward eligible, which is really nice of Draftkings to do. 6,600 is way cheap for him. He is on PKs. He's very active. No sort of set share or set upside, but just great attacker. So I am full board for Ocampos here, especially if you didn't see Munir, because so much of that offensive action is going to be driven towards Ocampos. Navas and Escuero are really, really nice fullbacks. Both of them are very much in play. Roma side of things. First off, just know Alexei or Kolarov. Alexander Kolarov. I don't know why I'm blanking on his first name. Anyhow, you know who I'm talking about. He is bait. Like, do not play Kolarov. He's playing in the back three now. He's lost sets. Like, He's expensive. His logs are good. Just do not play him. Like, that is a bad play. If he scores 2 goals, that is fine. You made the right play not playing him. Spinazzola and Perez are both very in play as active wingbacks. Both are way underpriced because in the Europa League, neither one of them were playing. So we get a discount on both of them. Spinazzola, 3,900, Perez, 4,400. I like them both. Perez is the more attacking of the two. If we don't see Pellegrini or Bertout in this type of situation, we would likely see Mkhitaryan on set pieces with maybe Zaniolo taking a few as well. And I guess you could see Kolarov jumping on a few, but again, like, you would be paying up for a defender whose sole value would be like corner kicks, and we don't even know how many he would take. Dzeko, I talked about Sevilla's defense already. I think that that's a solid fade, fading, goal dependency in this type of tough matchup, and maybe try to focus on like a Volland or, at that point, maybe even doing like a Kai Havertz. I think that makes more sense. All right, that's the first slate. Let's move on to the second slate. Wolves versus Olympiacos. Wolves obviously are always just kind of a tough DFS team. We know that from EPL. Moutinho is only 6,300. Would be on 100% of set pieces. So for cash, I get it. I'll probably end up there too, despite my hatred for guys that are only, deriving their value from sets, but the price is right at 6,300. So I guess it's fine. Like, this slate, it's a little bit tougher. So in terms of finding floors and finding DK points without goals. So I get Moutinho. Doherty and Johnny are the wing backs. Obviously, neither one of them crosses a lot. You can always jump like luck into an assist or a goal. Doherty is more likely to do that than Johnny. I really, really do hope Adama Traore starts. He was fantastic in the first leg versus Basel. I don't know, with all the transfer rumors, if Nuno's just kind of letting him sit, but he scored 16 floor points on 12 crosses, 3 fouls drawn, 2 shots, 1 shot's assisted. So I'm really hoping we see him because he'd be a lock in my lineups. If not, Wolves are the biggest favorite on that afternoon slate. So, probably locking Raul Jimenez, who does have a floor, even though he's a striker. Also on PKs, I think that would be the route I would go. For Olympiacos, so Valbuena just is that guy that always gets there. Issue for Olympiacos, we can't see their Opta data from them during league play. But if we don't see Kostas Fortounis, I would know for sure that Valbuena would be on all the sets. I guess he could split with Masouras, but it would most likely be Valbuena, who I think, is a really nice play at 6,700. We know Wolves don't exactly like take over games. They still allow, possession, allow DK points. So I don't have any problem playing the set taker from Olympiacos. Tismikas is a fine fullback for attacking, so he would be probably the other route. And then Masouras tackles, shoots, crosses, few set pieces here and there would be the other guy I'd look for on Olympiacos. All right, moving on to Basel versus Frankfurt. We're going to go Basel first and we get out of the way, and then I get to talk about the god that is Filip Kostic. So Basel absolutely demolished Frankfurt first leg 3-0. They are not going to need to push forward a ton. I would expect them more to be on the counterattack. So I think the Basel pieces are kind of like your last pieces in. You don't need to like necessarily lock them in first. Maybe as a GPP route, if you just think that Frankfurt overcommits, their defense already sucks, they come out flat, any of those things, and you want to target some upside from Basel, like, I get it. So, but just understand, I'm not going to talk too much here. Sino Campo would likely be on most of the sets. Fabian Frey takes a few. But other than that, I'm really not going to be on Basel pieces, other than like a GPP. Maybe I take like a Cabral or try to get a striker and just hope for a goal on the counter. That would be how I would approach Basel. Frankfurt, on the other hand, down 3-0. Season's already over. Did not qualify for Europe through the Bundesliga. So, like, in my opinion, they have to go all out. So I do like these pieces. First off, Filip Kostic, the god of DFS. Outside of Kevin De Bruyne, no one in DFS has a higher floor than Kostic. He could very well end up with 15 to 20 crosses here, so he should be a lock in every single one of your lineups, especially with how porous this afternoon slate is. Just lock. If you're playing 50 lineups, play 49 with Kostic. Just hedge one in case he gets injured. But There's no way he doesn't hit double digits, in my opinion. And, you get a goal or an assist, you could easily be looking at 25, 30 DK. DaCosta, it would be the other look I'd mention for floor, just playing on the outside. We've seen him really just play as a winger. And I think that would be the case here, down so many goals, that he and Kostic are just wide and bombing in crosses. Andre Silva was very much in form at the end of the Bundesliga season, looking awesome. So he would probably be my favorite striker on this entire afternoon slate for goal upside. And I think the shot floor that he'll give you makes him cash viable as well. Bastos is pretty much goal or bust, does not have the shot floor of Silva. So, maybe that's more GPP. Kamada, from time to time will take a corner, but just a really good player. Plays as kind of like a 10 role and just roams, shoots a ton as well. So I like him for cash as well. I think that kind of wraps up Frankfurt and the whole slate. Well, guys, I hope that this helps, and that you enjoy the soccer/football, whatever country you're in, however you want me to say it. I can't please everybody. I have people that go, you should only call it football, you should only call it soccer. It's the beautiful game. Enjoy it. I'm so glad to be back talking soccer football with you guys. Be back tomorrow for the Champions League. Couldn't be more excited. I hope you guys are too. And good luck today, and crush it. Take care.